Hey there. Sounds like you're diving into a thrilling movie with Devil Comes at Night. So in the beginning of the movie, we can see two men who panic and enter a very big farmhouse where Jack starts trying to explain to Ben that the lights should not be turned on under any circumstances. Then Ben notices the injury marks on his fingers, seeing which he got frightened and fainted. Now when Jack sees Ben in such a condition, he immediately leaves a note in his pocket and sets out to take him away. Now when Ben wakes up at night, to reduce the pain in his hand, he goes to the bathroom of the house and takes out some supports from the first aid kit and applies them on his fingers. Now Ben was not able to understand what had happened. Then he finds a note left by Jack in his pocket, in which it was written that under any circumstances. In that note, Ben was not supposed to turn on the lights, but by then Ben had turned on the lights there. Well, Ben had just read the note when he heard the sound of a knock on the gate, but when he asked, there was no response from the other side. Then we can also see the shadow of a woman outside the house, and now Ben's eyes fell on her. Along with that woman, her husband was also there, who signals Ben to come out. While introducing themselves, they tell that they are actually Ben's neighbors. When they came to know that Ben has now come to live in that farmhouse, came to meet him. But Ben says that actually he has come to that farmhouse to complete some unfinished work of his father, whose father had recently died in an accident 2 weeks ago. Hearing which this couple, named Lisa and Ted, was feeling very bad for Ben, but Ben tells him that actually his father used to be very busy in his work, so Ben's relationship with him was not special. Now they are talking about all these things. Then suddenly Lisa and Ted start forcing Ben to come to their house, to which Ben flatly refuses, but he's still. They were forcing Ben too much, which was weird, so Ben angrily chases them away from there and goes inside the house. Then he also gets a call from Jack, who himself was very scared, and also he was talking to someone, was trying to escape. Now when Ben tries to ask him all the things, Jack just tells him to leave the farm as soon as possible, because according to Jack, there was something strange in the farm, but Ben does not understand anything at the moment. He doesn't come, and meanwhile Jack's call also gets disconnected. Now when Ben comes inside, a car was passing by the farm, but Ben just ignores it even after seeing it. Now when he is searching for his father's safe in his house, then he starts feeling as if someone has come into his house, but very much. Despite searching, he doesn't find anyone there. Then suddenly someone starts honking from outside his house, and when Ben goes outside to check, there was a man named Misson who works for Ben's father Arthur. He used to do this, and even today he had come to his farm to plant scarecrow, but now Ben starts forbidding him to plant scarecrow. But Ben, despite Ben's words, Mason was not listening to him, and at the same time he was behaving very rudely, due to which Ben got very angry at him. And now he was thinking of killing Mason, but he stops after thinking something and asks Mason to finish his work quickly and leave from there. And you might have noticed another strange thing, that their neighbors Ted and Lisa came to know that Ben was coming there. But how did they not know about Ben's father's death? This is all very strange stuff. Well, now Ben comes inside and tries to call Jack again, but Jack's number was now switched off, and knowing this, Ben gets tensed, but then he again hears the sounds of someone being in his house. They start coming, and this time when he starts checking the house, he finds a girl named Amy in the upstairs room who knew Arthur, but it was quite strange to come inside the house like this. Now she tells that Arthur, she was given the keys to this house, because Arthur used to come inside her library to take books, and at the same time, she was not coming in front of Ben, because he did not even know that he had a son. Well, then Ben explains to Amy that the relationship between his father and her was not very good, and he has come there on the request of Jack, and also with Amy. Also asks what she is doing in her dad's farmhouse, to which Amy tells that actually there are many strange people living in this town, and when many people slowly start disappearing from that town, Amy, she came to that house to escape, to save her life. Now Ben was unable to understand what was going on in the town, and now when Amy started asking him about Jack. When she asks, Ben tells her that actually Jack is a very special friend of his, and today they had a fight in a bar, and after that Ben does not remember anything, and also Jack left him in that house, so he could get help. Now both of them were talking about this when suddenly Mason starts honking his horn from outside. Now this thing had irritated Ben a lot, so Ben got angry with a baseball bat. Then Amy, knowing about Mason, starts to stop Ben from going out, but Ben tells Amy to keep the door closed. Saying this, he goes out to kill him. Amy was still scared here and was waiting for Ben to come back when suddenly she also sees Ted and Lisa outside, who were calling Amy out like they were calling Ben in the beginning. They were calling. Now Amy also goes out, but as soon as she opens the gate, Ben comes running inside, who was attacked by Mason, Ted, and Lisa together with the help of a very dangerous tool. Ben tries to free himself. He keeps trying, but he can't get free. Then Amy helps him, and somehow they both get inside, but they're still outside the gate. They were standing, but even though the gate was open, they did not come inside, and this was a very strange thing. Here both Ben and Amy were shocked, so they were calling both of them out, which means that there was definitely something going on. Well, for now both of them closed the gate, and here Amy starts tying Ben's own boxing band on his wounds to stop the bleeding, and here now both of them were very nervous because both of them no one was able to understand what was going on. Now at first Ben was thinking that maybe they were racist, and Ben is black here, so they are after him. So now Ben just wanted to find his father, save, and get out of there as soon as possible. Then Amy tells him that maybe his father knew that these things would definitely happen, because he told Amy he had told him that when everyone in the town starts behaving strangely, he should come to his house, and he himself was doing research on some things which were actually related to Deem, and the people present outside are actually cannibals. That is, they eat human flesh. But now despite hearing such demonic things, Ben does not believe in all these things at all. He was brought up in the city, and even now Ben was trying to find a safe with money in any condition, and then Amy sees that Ben actually cares more about those money than his life. Then she starts getting very angry at him. To calm his anger, Ben tells Amy that in fact he should give that money to Jack. Because actually Ben is a boxer and Jack had been his trainer and manager since childhood, and due to some mistakes of Ben, his boxing license was canceled, which caused both Jack and Ben to fall into depression, and it was no less that then Jack comes to know that he has cancer. So Ben decides that he will get Jack treated with Arthur's money. Telling all this, Ben became very emotional after hearing all these things. Later Amy understands that money actually matters to Ben, and at the same time, she also tells a secret about herself that she has come there to save her life, but in reality, inside this house, the love of that person is going on. It may also be revealed what exactly is going on inside the town, and Arthur has been trying to find out about the same now that Amy was the first. He had also gone around the entire house to know everything, so he knew where the safe was, which was in a storeroom, and his way was from outside now, because both of them knew that in reality there was a lot of danger outside. So he goes out with full preparation, and he had also extinguished his lamp so that no one could follow him due to the light, and Jack had also left the same thing in the note that do not turn on the light. But as soon as he went out, Lisa edge attacks Ben if she can smell anything human, but Amy somehow manages to bring Ben into the storeroom. They go there where they found some books which contain some photos of Ben's grandfather, seeing which Ben tells that actually on October 1st, 1969, there was a fire in his grandfather's church in which he died. But in the police report the date of the fire was completely wrong, and then Ben remembers that this date is actually the passcode for Arthur's lock, and now both of them are wondering how anyone could make such a bad date as their passcode. Just then a cannibal comes outside and attacks both of them with a crossbow, but he misses his target. Ben and Amy start trying to escape from him, but in the meantime, the cannibal shoots Amy with an arrow, in which she gets injured. This made Ben very angry, so he angrily shoots the cannibal, pulls him inside the storeroom, and now as soon as the cannibal comes inside, he starts vomiting blood, as if he could not have come here, but still he attacks Ben, and says that actually he wants to eat Ben, which was a very strange thing, and Ben does not understand anything he says, but in the meantime Amy wakes up and is safe. She attacks the cannibal and kills him, and then Amy and Ben come back to life. Now they start looking at Arthur's documents again, from which they come to know that around the same date, Arthur was killed. There was a death, and in fact this farmhouse is built on the same spot where Ben's grandfather's church was set on fire, and only now does he understand why they could not come inside the cannibal's house to eat these people somehow. He was a version of K. Deem, and it's obvious how he could have come to the church site, and now he understands why a cannibal. As soon as he came inside, he started vomiting blood, as well as now Ben also believed Amy's words, but still he could not understand why Arthur's dad had kept the date of the passcode the same, i.e. the death of his grandfather, and now they were thinking about it when they knocked someone's door. Now at first, neither of them understands anything, nor does they say anything, but then the man outside takes Ben's name and tells that he has actually been sent by Jack so that he can help Ben. And now after hearing this, Ben goes out with Amy with a weapon in his hand where Jay was standing. Then on talking to Jay, Ben comes to know that Jack is actually in the hospital. Now he tells that the people with whom he actually fought in the bar had caught Jack, And after that they killed him in the hospital. Now Ben starts feeling very bad after hearing this. Now Jay asks Ben to walk with him, on which Ben refuses. But when Jay tries to force him, he was also suspected, as well as he understood that in fact Jay is also part of the same cannibal cult. Now Mason also comes there with the rest of his people who were actually all cannibals, and now he offers Ben that if he hands himself over to Mason, then they will not hurt anyone. Ben flatly refuses because they could not all come inside the house, but along with Mason, they catch Jack, whom he had taken captive. Now seeing Jack, Ben starts going out to save him, but then Amy stops him. And now, because Ben still did not come out, Mason now takes Jack's life in front of Ben, which was really a very scary scene. And seeing this, Ben gets very angry and he breaks down. Then he goes out in anger and starts moving towards Mason, but then suddenly V turns towards Jay and hands his hands. With the help of the weapon present in the house, he cuts Jay's throat and quickly runs inside with the keys of the car from his hand. Now he was feeling very bad after coming inside because his last friend was killed because of him, but Amy handles him in some way. Then Ben tells him that he is actually a very bad person. Because of him his own career was ruined. Now as he won the championships, he got used to parties and alcohol, which made his performance useless, which also made Jack sad. But Ben resorted to cheating to please him again. He used his gloves inside, used pop as well as iron plates, so that his opponents used to get knocked out in a single punch. But later he started enjoying hurting people badly, and then when he was caught, he and Jack were permanently banned from boxing. That is, Jack could not train anyone else, and after that Jack became depressed and reports of his cancer also came at the same time. And even after hearing this, Amy starts trying to control Ben, and now seeing Amy in such a condition, Ben decides that he will take revenge for Jack's death. But before that he opens the safe inside, which he finds that the recording is found as well as a CD that was actually a recording of the day his grandfather's church burned down. Now when both of them listen to that recording, they come to know that actually on that day, Ben's grandfather had exorcised Mason's mother. Yes, a demon had come inside it, and during the exorcism, when grandfather tells the devil to go back to hell, that is, he was not deemed but the devil, then the devil reveals that in reality, with the help of that devil, Mason wanted to kill father, because Mason had made a deal with the devil that if he eats the flesh of a person with pure intentions, he will get godlike powers. But at that time, somehow, grandfather sends the devil back. But on the way, in return for his defeat, the devil gave a curse to Mason that if he really loses his power, then he will get the flesh of the same father, or his next descendant will have to be eaten. And now you must have understood why these people were saying that they wanted to eat his flesh. And later when Mason tried to kill grandfather and tried to eat his flesh, he himself set fire here and killed himself. Killed him, and later his son Arthur was also killed in a car crash and survived here. There was only Ben, so these people were happy to see him because Ben had come as a ray of hope for them to get powers, or should we say as darkness, because it is obvious that he is the worshipper of devil, so he is out to bring destruction in the world. They were the ones who were going to bring darkness and not light, and that is why Mason just wants to kill Ben. Now after knowing all these things, Ben and Amy get very shocked, but till now Ben had completely convinced that he will kill. Just as he is about to kill, Mason comes there, who is going to set fire to the house in some time, so that he can take Ben out. On which Ben deals with him, that if he lets Amy go from there safely, then he himself will come to Mason. But now Mason wanted to kill Amy too. So now he asks for time to think about it, and inasmuch as Mason is making his decision, Ben comes out fully prepared, where his plan was that he on that land, which is actually in the name of God, there they will insult God and get caught in the trap created by him, and will be killed. And now it is the same thing Ben feed on the cross to make the land unholy here. He keeps it as well as spits on it. Seeing which Mason did not understand anything about what was happening because these people believed in God, but as soon as he goes inside with his companions, he is killed due to Ben's trap. But now there was a cannibal behind Amy at the same time. Mason himself also attacks Ben because he was cheated. Now Ben was trying to save Amy there, but by the time he reached Amy, that cannibal had killed Amy, but Amy herself had taken his life. That is, both of them had been killed. That is, he deliberately showed that he does not believe in God here, and this place is unholy, so that these people would be forced to come inside, and the same happened now. Seeing all this, Ben gets very angry, but now he could not do anything in front of Mason. So he accepts defeat, and now as soon as Mason gets a chance, he immediately bites Ben's neck and eats his flesh, so that he is very happy, but is more happy than Ben Mason, because in reality it was all a trap of his. He himself was not actually Ben, but the real Ben was sent to a rehab center where he met the real Ben. And it was the real Ben who told him about Arthur's save, which could contain money. And because the man was not really a good person, so he took the money. Thought of stealing. Now after knowing all this, Mason gets very upset because due to Ben being bad, his powers had reduced a lot. He had to eat a noble person here, i.e. a descendant of Arthur's father. But here the opposite happened, and now taking advantage of this, Amy also got up from behind and helped fake Ben to kill Mason. Kills her in the same way as she killed Jack, i.e. Amy just survived here. And now the next day we see fake Ben and Amy going out of the town with the help of Jay's car, where Amy and fake she asks Ben his name, and boom. With this the movie ends here, so you understand that this was Sarah's plan all along with Arthur and his son. Here Ben completely knew what the scene was. He deliberately sent fake Ben here, because if these people did not do this and did not plan, then these devil worshippers here would always keep doing like this. They kept waiting that a descendant of Ben's grandfather would come here, and they would do wrong to him, eat his flesh so that they could get powers. But the dice had completely turned here, and I think the devil here would also have understood that Mason is stupid, so he gave him a loan. So I hope you like the movie Devil Comes at the Night. You like the explanation Hoagie and movie was surprisingly good. I did not expect that the movie would turn out so good. I mean, I sat down to watch it without any expectation, but I liked the movie very much. Found the concept interesting. It was quite interesting. I hope you liked it as much. So if you liked it, then quickly like the video. If you're new to the channel, then subscribe. And if you want to watch this movie, then